Hello and welcome. My name is Shreya Lairi and today I'm going to be talking about SDG. More specifically, SDG 16 with relation to the poem Geography Lesson written by Zulfikar Ghosh. Now, before we get started, let us take a brief look at what SDGs are. In the year 2015, the United Nations members came together and created an agenda for sustainable development that they wanted to reach by the year 2030. They created 17 such targets or goals, and they were consequently named Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs for short. They were created with the aim of peace and prosperity for people and the planet. The 17 targets were number 1, no poverty, number 2, zero hunger, number 3, good health and well being, number 4, quality education, number 5, gender equality, number 6, clean water and sanitation, number 7, affordable and clean energy, number 8, decent work and economic growth, number 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. Number 10, reduced inequalities. Number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Number 12, responsible consumption and production. Number 13, climate action. Number 14, life below water. Number 15, life on land. Number 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Number 17, partnership for the goals. Today, we are going to be taking a closer look at number 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. SDG 16 talks about promoting peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, providing access to justice for all, and building effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels, and enforcing non discriminatory laws and policies for sustainable development. In our current world, we have unfortunately several wars and conflicts ongoing. We have issues of discriminations based on gender, socioeconomic background, age, race, and much more. SDG 16 talks about elimination of such evils in our society. Now, let us take a look at the individual targets of SDG 16. There are essentially 12 targets. First, significantly reduce all forms of violence and related death rates everywhere. Second, end abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and all forms of violence against and torture of children. Third, promote the rule of law at the national and international levels and ensure equal access to justice for all. Fourth, by 2030, significantly reduce illicit financial and arms flow, strengthen the recovery and return of stolen assets, and combat all forms of organized crimes. Fifth, substantially reduce corruption and bribery in all its form. Sixth, develop effective and accountable and transparent institutions at all levels. 7. Ensure responsive, inclusive, participatory, and representative decision making at all levels. 8. Broaden and strengthen the participation of developing countries in the institutions of global governance. 9. By 2030, provide legal identity for all, including birth registration. 10. Ensure public access to information and protect fundamental freedoms in accordance with national legislation and international agreements. 12. Strengthen relevant national institutions, including through international cooperation for building capacity at all levels, in particular in developing countries, to prevent violence and combat terrorism and crime. 13th, 12th, promote and enforce non discriminatory laws and policies for sustainable development. Now we shall be taking a closer look at Target 16.1, which is the first target under SDG 16. Significantly reduce all forms of violence and related death rates everywhere. As previously mentioned, unfortunately, in our current world, there are several wars and conflicts going on. at places. And we as humans look for peace, be it with our friends, be it with our family. We all strive for peace. And when we are stressed, we do not react well. We are not ourselves when we are stressed. So, peace is needed, is very necessary for survival. It helps us become good people. Peace makes us good people. Peace makes us good citizens. And when we are not ourselves, there tends to be disharmony in our society. As we can see, governing bodies are more concerned with political and economic aspect of war rather than the humanity of it all. This is leading to distrust towards the governing bodies. There is a rise of bribery and power inequality. We are seeing people or groups of people disregard such governing bodies. Violence is on the rise. In fact, we are seeing an escalation of violence. The degree of severity of violence has also changed. Though the UN has come up with the targets, they have not set any parameters. There are no parameters to measure what constitutes as peace. There is inequality in opportunity and inequality in access of such opportunities. Intolerance is on the rise. Discrimination based on religion, skin color, race, gender are extremely prevalent. Yet, there is a lack of interest. There is lack of concern by most people. As long as they are not affected, people tend to live in their own world. Till date, there are people with no proper access to justice or justice system. Lack of information and at times improper information leads to further the gap of inequality. So, we must take action before there are any irreversible damage to our society simply because of our actions. We must be aware, we must be tolerant, and we must be kind. We must choose the correct path, the path that leads to the well being of all. As the future of our country, the responsibility is on us for the betterment of our lives. We need to work for peace and security of our lives. We must utilize all available resources, be it online platforms or creating awareness, and most importantly, through knowledge and education. Now, we shall be looking at the poem The Geography Lesson, written by Zulfikar Ghosh. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. Seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile, there seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned, and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys were populated. The logic of geography, that land and water attracted man, was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. When the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. But it was difficult to understand that the man on earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities, and to kill. From that height, it was not clear why. Now, some information about the poem. As we saw, that there was no rhyme scheme, so it is essentially a free verse. And the first line is always repeated at the end of the stanza, which is known as a refrain. Now, if we briefly summarize, then the first stanza is essentially about how everything looks from the sky. The second stanza is how civilization was set up. and the third on why people hate each other. We see a vivid description of what the poet sees from the sky during a plane ride. A jet is a plane. In the first stanza, he talks about the view from the sky. The unplanned city started to have patterns when looking from up in the sky. In the second stanza, the poet tells us how man, despite geographical distance, behave the same way. Civilizations of old, such as Indus Valley, Egyptian civilization, Mesopotamian civilizations, all had grown around rivers. We needed and still need rivers or water for our survival. At the end of the day, humans are all the same. The earth is mostly covered by water and the most essential factor of our lives. Yet, with the rise of civilization instead of unity, humans have found reasons to divide. Man have created borders and fought in the name of such arbitrary borders. And this doesn't make sense. And the poet wonders the same. As we had seen, the poem Geography Lesson talks about the unnecessary hate men have towards each other. The same way SDG 16 talks about the hate and acts of hate of men. The sentiment of SDG 16 is reflected through this poem. And in the end, we can simply work towards a peaceful, equal, and just society. Thank you.